Ah, Pokémon Red. Well, not the original Game Boy one. I'm talking about the version everyone actually remembers, FireRed. With massively improved graphics like color and iconic Gen 3 sprites. FireRed is the definitive way to experience the first generation of Pokémon, even though we will be missing some unintentionally hilarious features, like Psychics having no real weaknesses and Hyper Beam resetting on KO. The world of Pokémon is truly a paradise. In real life, you have to wait until your kids are 18 until you can kick them out, but in the world of Pokémon, you can have them travel the world at 10, so mommy can invite over the hunk next door for some battling of her own. The core loop of a Pokémon adventure is simple. A 10-year-old kid travels region, defeats 8 specialized gym leaders, and becomes champion. This journey requires strategic mastery, not unlike Snorlax trying to find the perfect napping spot. And that planning starts immediately with your Choidola starter. We have the Fire Rat, the Water Turtle, and the Grass Dinosaur. The choice here is obvious. The Grass Dino provides the easiest road to success by crossing the first 3 gyms. Given that Misty is often considered the hardest early game gym leader, securing that easy dub is crucial to our success. After our adventure starts, we have the privilege of learning how to catch Pokemon from this old boomer. Yep, we're skipping all of that. I have a Bulbasaur, I won't be needing any of those Pidgeys or Caterpies. And speaking of bugs, the idea of Pokemon came from the creator's childhood love for catching insects, and it really shows because bug types are notoriously terrible. Especially in the first generation, he did a great job of showing his humble optimism for the things that he loved, even if that love resulted in some of the worst meta choices in the game. Maybe he just enjoyed challenge runs and wanted the bug mono runs to be hardcore. The first gym in FireRed is Brock the Rock-type expert, a notorious womanizer that has to be put in his place. His devious plan, using an Onix as his ace, an absolute weapon of mass destruction with a whopping attack stat of 45, tied with heavy hitters like Pachirisu and Wurmple. Clearly, being 4 times weak to grass is not a great look for the first gym leader. You should definitely study his type matchups next time. I am obviously one of the greatest Pokemon minds, but the anime throws all of this strategy away. Our hero Ash famously chose 2 Pokemon weak to rock and ground and then cheated by using a sprinkler system to soak the rock snake. Afterwards somehow being squirted with a super soaker made the ground type faint to a thunderbolt, a move that it's completely immune to. I would have used a similar genius strategy, but since the game didn't implement a sprinkler cheat code, a normal method was all I could utilize. I'll hope to learn from the anime's tactical prowess in the next gym. In the anime, Ash beat Misty by, well, he didn't actually beat her. Team Rocket showed up, the battle was cancelled, and Ash was just handed the badge. That sort of nepotism isn't afforded to us. We actually have to beat Misty. Luckily on the road here, I met this fine gentleman selling fish for 500 yen. What a steal. Do you know how expensive a 5-pound Magikarp is? Like 1,000 yen per pound, idiot. Unfortunately, the game didn't implement a fillet option for my new dinner, so I had to try and train it up. Now my evolved Gyarados, the water snake, combines perfectly with Ivysaur to teach Misty about superior type matchups. While Ivysaur handles her water types easily, Gyarados can intimidate Starmie's only real damaging option Swift, which is a physical move in this game. For those who don't remember, in Gen 3 the physical special split wasn't a thing yet. Whether a move was physical or special was entirely based on its typing. The evolution types plus dragon were special and everything else was physical. This led to iconic moves making zero sense, like Crunch being special and Shadow Ball being physical. This mechanical quirk lets us pivot Gyarados in, triggering Intimidate and neutralizing any damage from Starmie's only real threat. These 2 gyms were extremely stressful, so it's a perfect time to go to take an all-inclusive Jet 2 holiday cruise.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
Where you can waltz into people's rooms and take their stuff. Oh, that's why it's a budget airline, you can just borrow things. This section of the game is actually pretty funny. There's a lot to explore, but you can just ignore all of that and go straight to the point, slapping the rival and helping the seasick captain. I'm sorry, but your body should be used to this by now. I think claiming to be seasick is just a way to avoid the real issue, the cruise buffet that contained everyone on board with norovirus. If I knew how to catch a ground-type Pokemon from the nearby Diglett cave, the electric gym would be a cakewalk, but unfortunately I still don't know how to catch any Pokemon. I also don't have a Pikachu to have a 1v1 Rocky style matchup with the Raichu. I guess my only choice is just to beat the gym normally using a combination of Leech Seed and Sleep Powder. Why wouldn't I abuse such a broken strategy? Surge got all the juices sucked out of his mons, proving that status effects are broken. Next up, we face the hardest puzzle in the game, Rock Tunnel. Every player has gotten lost here. I know I need the Flash HM to see, and I know where to get it, but it requires 10 Pokemon captured. In my hubris, I skipped the capture tutorial because I had my Bulbasaur, and now we have to pay the price. We have to break the tunnels completely blind.
A few moments later.
Escaping caves and skipping straight to the next town meant that I could finally prepare for the matchup I have absolutely no chance against. Since grass beats water, and grass definitely beats grass. I need new Pokemon somehow, but how do I get new teammates when I can't capture any Pokemon? Well, fortunately, we can get a free Eevee that we name Jolt. In the anime, Ash used his skills as a pyromaniac to sneakily set fire to the gym, and then used his water types to put out the fires to look like a hero in the situation. Absolute genius, but where am I gonna find a fire type? I named my Eevee Jolt, so that has to become a Jolteon, so that isn't gonna help us much. But fortunately in FireRed you can gamble for Pokemon. We made enough money to buy our very own brain-type Pokemon Abra. This fella allows us to spam Psychic to beat the partially poison-type grass types that for some reason basically every grass Pokemon in Gen 1 is. I usually don't use brain-type Pokemon since I'm very smart in real life and don't need to put stats in game to intelligence, and would rather buff of things that actually matters, like looks and luck. And boy was that a good choice since Brainiac swept the entire gym. This section of the game is filled with Team Rocket stuff, like their hideout in the game corner and Silco. I'm not exactly sure what Team Rocket's goal is. I assume it's something to do with money. Honestly, I wouldn't care, except their boss is a gym leader who refused to go to work. To put this delinquent back on the daily grind of his miserable government job, we have to take down his entire enterprise with the only way I know how, by Pokemon battling him. Twice. This teaches him that crime doesn't pay, and I even get a Master Ball for my efforts. The so-called Master Ball is set to catch any Pokemon, and I need a flyer. Going to the bush nearby, I found an angry-looking pigeon that can taxi me across the region.
Jet 2 holiday.
Now this is luxury air travel. Being a city hero for stopping crime, yes, all of it, still doesn't give me access to a Pokemon League, and I have to go and finish the gym challenge. Just like any other loser who didn't stop crime. There is a fake gym in Saffron City where we can get a free Pokemon, and obviously this is an opportunity we can't pass up. This is also a great opportunity to explain stab moves to you. So basically, if you use a move with the same typing as your Pokemon, it does 50% more damage. The name Stab comes from the Pokemon pulling out a knife while attacking in the streets of London, innit? We use Stab Kadabra to spam brain attacks on the fighters that all fall down easily. Next up is Koga's Poison type gym, but somehow every trainer inside seems to be rocking Psychic types. I have no idea what's up with that. I filed a complaint of false advertisement to the Pokemon League, and Koga literally bribed me to be tried with a badge. Ash had to beat this gym normally, so I think I actually outdid the anime for once. Sabrina is the brain-type gym leader who is so smart that she can lift off spoons in the air with just thinking. But here's the kicker, if someone is too smart, you can ask them a paradox to get their brains to short circuit. If your gym gets repaired over and over again with new parts, is it still the same gym? She freezes, screaming as her psychic powers overload, causing the lights to flicker and her eyes to glow white. And then with a loud pop and a residual cloud of glitter, she violently teleports out of the room, leaving the badge on the floor. After the mainland badges, there's a long boring dungeon section with 2 different weird dungeons, so instead of all of that, let me explain to you type matchups that we will be utilizing. We got a free Lapras from the gangsters, and that's a water type Pokemon. The next gym will be a fire type gym, so using a water type there will be advantageous. Just look at the ocean. Can you see anything on fire there?
Ocean caught fire in the Gulf of Mexico just west of the Yucatan Peninsula.
Don't look at those. But even there, the firefighting boats are spraying water on the fire in the ocean to see the water is working. In anime, instead of going through the boring Cinnabar mansion, the gang instead gets invited to Mewtwo's island. Thanks for the invite. Anyway, Mewtwo makes clones of all the Pokemon and they realize clones of normal Pokemon are all great and they sing Kumbaya. I actually used to have nightmares of this movie as a kid. Maybe I should use that. Ash didn't have any great plans against Wayne and decided to have a fire-type clash using wrestling moves straight from the WWE. I would say my Surge ban was a much more delicate strategy. A similar play works with the last gym facing ex-crime boss Giovanni. In the anime, Ash doesn't actually even face him, so we don't actually have a strategy. But remember the type matchups? See, water is great against ground, and I can prove it. See the Grand Canyon? That used to be a mountain. Yeah, water did that shit. Using our Lapras, we flooded Giovanni's gym, teaching him a lesson about water types, mostly that even buildings can't take them. After destroying the gym with water damage, the whole league thing is gonna be shut down. We took his other source of income too. Literally destroyed this man's whole career, twice. These games are brutal, man. All that's left is Victory Road. It's just a grinding spot with high level Pokemon and some new encounters. But honestly, it's mostly just the last chance to get lost right before the Pokemon League. Well, at least I did. The Elite Four and Champion is a 5 battle gauntlet at the end of each Pokemon game to become the new champion. Wait, why do we want to become the champion? Is that like the president of the region or something? Leaving a 10-year-old in charge doesn't seem to be too smart, though then again looking at some of the other countries right now maybe it's not too far off the mark. The Elite Four are supposed to be type specialists like gym leaders, but when you take a closer look at their teams, this completely falls apart. Lorelei at least has a team of 5 Pokemon, and 4 out of the 5 are ice types as advertised. This is actually pretty good, but sadly the best we get from the league. Bruno, the fighting type expert, rocks up the battle with 3 fighters and 2 Onixes for whatever reason. This isn't for a lack of options either, there definitely are enough fighting types in Gen 1. He just decided that Onix, the 45 attack beast, is the perfect supplement to get swept. Agatha has a different issue. She's supposed to be the ghost type master, but the only ghost type in Gen 1 is the Gengar line, and she has 3 of them. And 2 other poison types, just making her a poison type trainer. Last but definitely not least, Lance has only the Dratini line as a dragon type, making a flying type leader instead. And all that's left is beating the Elite Four, and my complaints are already filed. Lorelei was almost good, but she bought a Slowbo. That's definitely a code violation. Bruno used Onix, instant forfeiture due to team inaccuracy. Agatha's team was mostly poison, violent of type specialization Klaus 3P. Lance used 1 actual dragon type, disqualified on the spot, you faker. The league official realized the entire tournament was a sham. They retroactively disqualified the Elite Four, and I was the only person left standing.
Stop right there. Giving up the champion's position without a single Pokemon battle, not on my watch.
We actually have to fight our rival for the champion spot, and well, he doesn't actually have any team restrictions unlike the Elite Four members, so my flawless strategy won't work here. However, I know for a fact that he loves to start out with a bird, so my evolved Jolteon will be the perfect pick to Thunderbolt it out of the sky. His BC Rhydon gets stalled out by Leech Seed and Bruce Lee, and then Alakazam falls to Pterodactyl. Gyarados comes in trying to stop the bleeding, but Jolt is ready to show the type chart once again. Then the real threat comes in, Executor, that I don't have any decent matchups into, but Jolt manages to solo it, only leaving Charizard, who leaves a Thunderbolt taking down Jolt, and then finally falling to my superior Perichon Straw-Out strategy. That was completely necessary since Charizard is the Pokemon that is the strongest in the anime. And that's my chill guide to Pokémon FireRed. I hope these strategies inspire your own playthroughs and that you've learned the true power of formal complaints.